La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Once again, I am so very happy to have you again out there, our cherished viewers of MTA. I hope to be with you in the next 30 minutes to discuss another important topic on this show, Misconceptions Removed. Once again, I am privileged to be with Movi Mohammed Mumbai, who is a missionary of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission, Ahmadiyya Muslim Community, Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, or whatever they choose to call it. Officer, you are most welcome to our studios once again.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for having you once again. We started with a discussion on Ahmadiyyat, and I would want us to continue on that same discussion because the misconceptions about Ahmadiyyat is just so much. And I believe you'll be able to help us to clear all such misconceptions. And we spoke about Ahmadiyyat in our earlier discussions in the previous episode. I just want you to recap what you said about what Ahmadiyya is, what in just a jiffy, just to as a recap for those who watched and even those who were unable to watch the previous episode.
Yes, Ahmadiyyat is that community or divine community established by Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, who claimed to be the promised Messiah and the Imam Ahmadi. So the followers of that Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani, those who believe in him and his message that he received from Allah, they are called the Ahmadi Muslims.
Okay. But we know that Islam was established by the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Yes.
And you are saying that Ahmadiyyat has been established by Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. So doesn't that make Ahmadiyyat different from Islam?
First of all, it should be kept in mind that the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the founder of Islam.
Okay.
He himself prophesied about the division that will happen in his ummah.
Okay.
And he said Islam will be divided into 73 sects.
Oh, okay.
And he said all the 72 will be hellbound, meaning all the 72 will be calling people towards evil, disorder, except one. And he was asked, who are those? He said, Ma ana alayhi wa sahbi. What me and my companions stood on.
Okay.
In some other narration, he said, except al-jama'ah.
Okay.
Another narration, he said, a community or imamuhum, and their imam. So you can see that. So that community and their imam, the holy founder of the Ahmad Jamaat, based upon the second name of the Holy Prophet Sallallahu, which is Ahmad, he named his people based upon divine commandment also as Ahmadiyya Muslim community.
Okay.
This name is not an innovation like other names, because other names like Hanafiya.
What I want you to explain here with the name is that the Ahmadiyya, you said Ghulam Ahmed, isn't it?
Yeah.
So doesn't it mean the Ahmadiyyat means followers of Ahmed, in which case we are talking about Ghulam Ahmed? It's not that the case?
But because of his name is Ghulam Ahmad. No, I understood many people name there like Tijaniya will take Sheikh Ahmad Tijan, then they will say Tijaniya.
Okay.
Qadiriya, and so on.
Also shows that
no, Ahmadiyya is not like that.
Okay. So
those ones are not. We don't name Ahmadiyyat based upon the name of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. Ahmadiyyat is the embodiment of Islam, and also as a manifestation of that title of the Holy Prophet, which is called Ahmad, which have the meaning of softness, peace, and calmness in it. So that means in the latter days, the Holy Prophet will propagate Islam through his chosen servant.
Now,
in a peaceful way.
Mirza Ghulam Ahmed, what is his status? Is he a prophet? And if he is, Do you also believe that the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is to be the last of all the prophets, is to be the last prophet? You do believe that?
Let me first of all explain about this finality of prophethood quickly. We believe that Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is the last of the law-bearing prophet and independent prophets. Somebody might wonder, what do you mean by law-bearing prophets? The Holy Quran specifically stated that prophets are divided into two. One is the one who came with the law. And the other prophets, they do not come with the law, rather they come to judge by their people with the previous law. For example, Musa alayhi salatu wasalam came with a book called Tawrat, which is a Sharia, a complete code of law for that age and time.
Okay.
Then An-Nabiyun, many prophets came after Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, and they were judging by people with the law of the Torah. Similarly, so the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the last of all those prophets that came with a Sharia. But those prophets that would not come with any law, the Holy Prophet, that a prophet that would not come with any Sharia, the door is still open. In the Ummah, meaning from the nation of Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that somebody can still come who will be a prophet. And we, based upon that, we believe that Mirza Ghulam Ahmad alayhi salatu wasalam is indeed a prophet of God without any law, any religion, any new Qibla or any direction. Rather, he is just a follower of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Yeah, but that reminds me that in our earlier discussion, you did mention that the person of Mirza Ghulam Ahmed as the Imam of the age had been prophesied by the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Did the Holy Prophet say that he would be a prophet?
Yes, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam beautifully stated in Muslim, he called the promised Messiah, Isa ibn Maryam, Nabiullah, Nabiullah 4 times, showing that he is going to be a prophet. Now, another point is that, why will he not be a prophet? There is only one person that if you believe him, you become a prophet. You become a believer. If you disbelieve in him, you are entitled to a title called kafir, a disbeliever.
So who is that person?
That is called a prophet.
Okay.
Now the question is, if he is not going to be a prophet, what will he be? A common scholar like any other scholar? So what will be the essence of following him? So it is nowhere stated that if you disbelieve, disagree with a scholar in his opinion, then you become a kafir.
Okay.
It is not stated anywhere.
Yeah, but if the Holy Prophet didn't say that he is a prophet,
he said so. He's a prophet. As I quoted, he said Nabiullah.
Okay. Okay.
You understand? He called him Nabiullah 4 times in Muslim.
That's fine. So we will continue on that interesting part. But then before that, let's watch this clip and then see what this person has to say. Then we can come back and continue.
Ahmadiyyat, their sect in Islam, that's they claim to be Muslims, and other sectors, some of the sectors in Islam actually do not regard them as Muslims, that Muhammad is not a father of any of you, but Muhammad is what? The seal of prophets. He's a prophet and the seal of messengers. So if Quran categorically, conspicuously said this, and anybody after which this ayah has been revealed, and anybody comes to claim to be a prophet, then if we agree with him, then it means we disagree with the verse of the Quran. Khatam al-Nabiyyin is that the seal of what prophet? The seal, the end. It means when I pack something and I seal it, nothing will go inside again. That's what Allah said conspicuously, that the seal of prophets. So after him, anybody who comes to claim that he's a prophet, we shouldn't believe him.
Welcome back, Mofisab. You have heard him. He says that the Holy Prophet is the seal. Before we come to his interpretation, I know you may have your own interpretation, but he says it's a seal of prophet. So before you can be accepted as a Muslim, because like he said, the problem other Muslims have with you, for which reason they say you are not Muslim, is that you don't believe that the Holy Prophet is a seal of prophets.
We Ahmadi Muslims believe the Holy Prophet to be the seal of the prophets.
Okay.
And the founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad alayhi salatu wasalam, mentioned in many of his books that we believe that Muhammad sallallahu is the Khatam al-Nabi, is the seal of the prophets. But I would, the person who is saying that seal means the last, and that means there will be no other prophet after him.
Yes, but he says that, you see, you have a box, you have things here, and you seal it. So once you've sealed it, how do you expect that either you put in new things? So if he has come to seal the prophethood, why must another prophet come after him?
The point is that he himself who is saying this, they believe that Jesus Christ is coming back.
Yes.
Right? And they will never deny the fact that he will not come back as a prophet. If they say so, they are making a big mistake.
Okay.
Because Jesus Christ in the Holy Quran, Allah called him Rasulan ila Bani Israel.
Okay.
He is a messenger sent to the children of Israel. Okay. Of course, there is nowhere mentioned that he is going to be a messenger for the whole world again. Yeah. But they believe that he will come back. Okay. And they believe he's going to be a prophet. Okay. So you believe that somebody is alive who is coming back as a prophet of God, and another way around, you are interpreting that there is no prophet coming after Holy Prophet. You are just self-contradicting yourself. Okay. Now let me come to the verse, to the seal. The word khatam is not isim fa'il. So I don't want to go deep into those things. But it is isim ala, meaning khatam have so many meanings. Yes. One, there are two types of rings in Arabic. One of the ring is called khatam. The ring that have a signet, a kind of stone on it. That in the olden days, people use it to seal letters and so on and so forth.
You mean stamp?
Stamp.
Okay.
That when it comes, use it in the sense of isim Allah. That they use it, the Holy Prophet ﷺ wrote letters to different kings, and he used the ring and sealed it as a sign of authentication. To verify that this letter is from Muhammad ﷺ, the messenger of Allah. Okay. And another khatam, which means a ring. A type of ring that have, as I just explained before, that is used to stamp things, you have signet here, it's called khatam. There's another type of ring which is called fatakhatam. That is a flat type of ring. Okay. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala beautifully called Holy Prophet khatam, the ring of all prophets. Okay. Meaning he beautified the teachings of all prophets. And number two, he authenticated and verified to the prophethood of all those prophets that came before him. And those that are to come after him, they have to bear the seal of Muhammad. Now the question is, his translation of seal as mean, khatam means, the last. Yeah. Where can he verify that? First of all, we all believe that nobody understood the Holy Quran more than the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If khatam means categorically and hermetically, the door of prophethood is closed, and there is no room left for a non-law-bearing prophethood to come, why would, upon the death of his son, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, say, "Law asha Ibrahim, lakana siddiqan nabiyya," in Ibn Majah, Babul Janaza. Then when his son passed away, Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, his son called Ibrahim, in the age of 7, he said, surely if Ibrahim has lived, he would have surely become a true prophet of Allah. Okay. And that was after the revelation of the verse of Khatam al-Nabi in Surah Al-Azab.
So after Surah
Al-Azab was revealed, where the word Khatam al-Nabi is mentioned.
Then the prophet's son passed
away after almost 4 to 5 years. Yes. And then Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said this while on his burial place, that Law asha Ibrahima, lakana siddiqan nabiyya. Surely if Ibrahim has lived, he would surely become a true prophet of Allah. The Holy Prophet knew that he was Khatam al-Nabi in the sense that he is interpreted.
Okay, so it means that to be a prophet, it's not like Islam, but there can be a prophet. But before you can become a prophet, you should have been authenticated.
The Holy Prophet is the great seal bearer.
Yeah. So how did the Holy Prophet authenticate Mirza Ghulam Ahmed? Or, as you put it, he put a stamp on him and called him a prophet.
The Holy Prophet spoke about the coming of a reformer. Okay. And among those signs that he mentioned about the coming of the Messiah, number one, with the coming of the Messiah of the latter days, he said, Rajulun Adam, a brown man, and his hair he will have kind of.
So he gave a description.
A full description of the. But he called him a brown man.
Brown man.
But with the Isa that was sent to the children of Israel, the Jesus Christ of Nazareth, he described him as Rajulu Ahmar, red colored man.
Colored man. Okay.
So with the Isa that is to come in the latter days, he described him brown in color.
Okay.
But the Isa of the dispensation of Moses, the last person to come in the dispensation of Moses, he described him as red in color. Okay. So automatically shows that these are two different people that Holy Prophet has referred.
We'll now watch the second clip and then we'll come back and continue.
Ahmadiyya at times they do even pray Juma. They are Juma after praying Juma from UK. On this, it's not using this good method in Islam because Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam didn't bring this.
You seem to have strange practices. When I say you seem, Ahmadis seem to have strange practices. You have heard the gentleman saying that Ahmadis, you pray your Juma behind somebody in UK. Even if you are in Ghana, you'll be praying behind an Imam in UK for Juma Salat. And that contradicts the teachings of Islam. So how can you do that and also claim to be a Muslim?
Yes, I quoted a verse of the Holy Quran, which beautifully stated that La takfu ma laysa laka bi'ilm. Never follow anything that you have no true knowledge about. And Allah also said in the Holy Quran, advising believers that avoid too much of suspicion, for too much of it is a sin. Avoid suspicion. Too much of it is a sin. So these are our suspicions. They don't have any true knowledge about us, what we do in the mosque. The Caliph of the time, who is stationed in UK, it's not only when he's in UK that we watch his khutbah. He can go to any other country, Germany, Spain, anywhere. We only watch his khutbah, means sermons. After watching his sermons, the Imam present in every part of the world where you are watching the khutbah, that Imam also will give his khutbah. And we don't pray behind the Khalifa, we pray behind our Imam who is present among us. And he will not only come and lead prayers, but he will also do his khutbah. After his khutbah, we pray behind him. We don't pray behind the Khalifa leading khutbah in UK or any part of the world, but we only listen to his khutbah.
Okay. And how significant is that? Do you necessarily have to listen to the khutbah as part of your, or must it necessarily be your Friday, so that it forms part of your khutbah in wherever part of the world you are?
We understood the status of a Khalifa,
okay,
as stated in the Holy Quran, and also as stated by the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Because in the Quran, it says, وَمَنْ كَفْرَ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ about khilafat فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. Those people who disbelieve thereafter, meaning the institution of khilafat, then they are the fasiq, they are the transgressors. We believe that the Khalifa is the closest person to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's the person who can give us the perfect guidance and advice than any other person, because he is a living example for us. Therefore, we do listen to the Khalifa of the time. We act upon his advice, his sermons, and then we try to do the same thing. For example, when Huzur talk about peace, the Imam here also can talk about peace, and he can also add certain things that we Khalifa did not even say. We are not saying that whatever Khalifa said, that is exactly every Ahmadi Imam have to implement that. No, the Khalifa gives his khutbah, everybody listen. The Imam can give a summary.
But that khutbah that is given is not part of the local Juma that you are doing.
No. That khutbah is
an opportunity to listen to his
advice. It's just an opportunity to listen to the Khalifa. That is not part of the sermon that is to be held in our Ummah. Okay. We are listening to him. It's like you watching a TV before the khutbah starts.
Okay.
TV. Watching maybe any of the scholars speaking. After you listen to you just then go to the mosque, or your Imam stand and do his khutbah. So you are doing khutbah behind that, praying behind that other Imam who is present in your mosque, not the one living in other part of the world. We have not invented anything new.
I see. So that's very, very, very interesting. And now we've spoken about Mirza Ghulam Ahmed for quite some time now. Does he himself follow the Holy Prophet, or did he follow The footsteps of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
As the promised Messiah Islam, you will hardly open any of his books or writings where you will not find there that he will state that he is what he is because of his master, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Okay, so he sees the Holy Prophet as his master.
As his master.
Okay.
And he also said that the Holy Prophet is the Siraj Munir, is the sun, which is illuminating, manifesting. And he is that moon that was charged by the Holy Prophet. Another place in his poem in Farsi, he said that the fountain, this fountain which flows, which he is distributing before the Khalqa Kuda Deham, which he is distributing before the creation of Allah. He said, Yakkatareze Bahari. It's just a drop. Jamal Muhammad. It's just a drop from the ocean of Muhammad, or from the beauty of the ocean of Muhammad. So he's saying that this knowledge that he's giving to people is just a drop from the ocean of Muhammad.
Okay.
And he said, he always said that without Muhammad he is nothing. Because whatever he attained is because of his complete submission and devotion to the Holy Prophet ﷺ. So that man, throughout his life, the founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, all his action and deeds were in according to the Quran and the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. That even the enemies, his enemies, the opponents of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, worst enemy, Muhammad Hussein Batalvi and others, they all testified to the fact that indeed he was a man of God. And he followed the true spirit of the Quran and the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet.
So his teachings,
yes,
which Ahmadis in parts of the world follow, I'm talking about Mirza Ghulam Ahmad,
okay,
is not different from what was brought and taught by the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Is that what you are saying?
Yes, it's not different. It's the same thing. Of course, the teachings of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the perfect teaching of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he came to renew them. Because with the passage of time, they became corrupted. People misuse the teaching of Islam. People misconstrue and also misunderstand the true teachings of Islam. And the Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Islam came as a great champion of Islam and not formed by an organization. He said, Ilmi min ar-Rahman zi ahlai. He said his knowledge is from ar-Rahman. So because his knowledge is of ar-Rahman and he's not formed by any organization or sponsored by any organization, he said Allah himself taught him the true teachings of the Holy Quran and understanding of the statements of hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And based upon that, he came to give Islam a new life. That Islam will be given life through him, and we all can see.
So if his teachings are the teachings of the Prophet of Islam, and as in the Holy Quran and the Ahadith, why the need for his coming? Because the teachings has already been brought by the Holy Prophet of Islam. In the Quran, which you say you believe in, you also believe in the Hadith. And these teachings have been there, and they are there, and they will be there forever. Do you really need somebody else to come and say that, yes, I'm a prophet, I have come, and like you said, I have come in the following of the Holy Prophet to throw more light? What is the essence of the appearance of or the coming of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad?
You see, the Jewish people, they would have raised similar type of question against the rest of the prophets that came after Moses. Because when those prophets came after Moses, they were telling their people that they came to teach them the Torah, the book of Moses. They would have also said the same thing. Oh, why are you teaching us the book? We already have the book with us. So what is the use of all you the prophets that came after Moses? That you are telling us that we came to teach you, I came to teach you, or we came to teach you people the laws of Moses. We already have them. We are reading them every day and night. So you are still telling us that we don't have guidance? We are lost? Yes, they are lost. That's why the prophets came. The prophets, the book of God is not like a book written by any man. It is a book of God. It came from heaven. So it's only a heavenly man who can be well equipped and understand the interpretation of the book. So that's why with the passage of time, people can be reading the book, but they still can go astray. And this reminded me of a hadith of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, when he says that time will come, his people will also go astray. And a companion said to him, how can we go astray when we have the book with us, the Quran? We also teach our children. They also teach their children and generations to come. He told him that, have you not seen the Christians and the Jews? Then they have a book with them. Are they not teaching their children? But have they not gone astray? So you can be telling me that what is the use of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad coming? I will tell you the same use that the other prophets that came after Musa, alayhi salatu, that they were teaching their people based upon the laws of Moses. And the scholars of that age and time were fighting them, were fighting those prophets, because the scholars were deprived of light and guidance. Even though the book is with them, but they were not understanding the true connotation, the true teachings of the book. Similarly, the books, the Holy Quran is with the Muslims. They were reading it every day and night, as today. You can beautiful voices, beautiful recitations, okay. But they lacked the knowledge of the true teaching and the true spirit of the Holy Quran. So heavenly man, who is Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani alayhi salatu wasalam, came at the head of 14th century to come and renew the true Islamic teachings and then revive the Islamic religion. So
why must a Muslim necessarily believe and accept Mirza Ghulam Ahmad?
You see, when it is said a prophet will come, who says it? The man that we all believe in as the master, the seed of all prophets, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it is also stated in the Holy Quran of the ayah, and the Holy Prophet, the Holy Quran also opened. There are verses of the Holy Quran that also point to the fact that a prophet can still come in the ummah of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you believe that these are word of God and the word of His Prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so the question of saying necessary or not necessary does not come. If you believe in the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you believe in the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the question of necessary or not necessary.
He has said that you should believe it.
Since He has said that, you just have to believe. Okay. And it is compulsory on you to believe in. Your denial of Him, after hearing the clear hujjat, explanation, argument of that man, you still went ahead and reject him. You are bringing yourself on the fasik, meaning transgressor.
Thank you very much. On this very, very interesting and insightful note, we'll draw the curtain down on today's episode of Misconceptions Removed. And I thank you all, my viewers. So until we meet again somewhere next week for another episode, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah.